Hey guys, what's up? I'm back for another recap and review for the very long overdue, very widely anticipated Belle Collective Season 2, Episode 1. And the episode's title is New Bells and New Babies, question mark. I don't know, we're gonna see. But if you guys watched the first season whenever it came out a million years ago, was that like at the start of the pandemic? You will know that this was a really good show. You know, of course, it's produced by Carlos King, reality king, Carlos King. Sorry, my hair. Anyway, we know that this was like we've been waiting so long. I'm so glad it's finally back, and it seems to be like gonna be giving what we needed to give. So, of course, we're going to get right into it. As always, I am Janice or Barb. Just do not call me Janice or Barbara. Let's get right on into it. So, the first thing we are at home with Latrice. And she's cooking some dinner for Zaddy. And before we even can get our foot fully in the doors, we're already talking about babies. His daughter, he has 5 kids total. They don't have any children together, but they start talking about kids. She just is not thinking about kids right now. She tells us how her business is booming. They are just so much success going on right now for her in her life. And she just not thinking about no babies. And he's like, well, I wish I would known this before I bought this big old house. His youngest daughter lives there, but she's like 17, about to go to college. So he's not trying to be like an empty nester. He wants to have more kids with his wife, but she's just not, with that right then and there. And that's okay, and that's understandable. But at the same time, I was just like, okay, is this not something that you guys have talked about like prior to getting married? I really hope it was. They've been married for, a little bit by this time, right? So I'm like, why is this just not coming up? Like, do you guys not? But I don't know. Cliff also seems like a man who, he just seems, older, stuck in his ways. So they probably did have the conversation, and he just don't seem like he's gonna be the type of person, like, it's either his way or the highway, probably. Like, he just, is not gonna take no being no. So who knows? She probably did bring it up to him. But that's their business, I guess. She also, I think she was talking to Melanie, and she's talking about how she wants to do like a high tea for the girls, for the ladies, to get them all together, as the first culminating event for everybody. We do know that, her and Marie, if you watch season 1, did not leave off the reunion on a good note. So I doubt that Marie will be there. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the next scene we get is Leticia. She is walking into her new business enterprise. She's opened up a business enterprise that houses, I think she said, like 5 different businesses up in there. And I was like, you know what, good for you. She says that the whole Ferris Street project is still something she wants to do. That's still the overall arcing goal for her, I think, career-wise. But for now, business is booming. She actually looks really good. I mean, like, not that she looked bad before, but first season's fashions and wigs and makeup just usually on these types of shows do not be giving at all. But I will say her wig looked really good. She looked really good. But lo and behold, although business is going well, her personal life is just leaving something to be desired. Personal life meaning her marriage. We find out that she actually moved out of the house. Her and Glenn are separated. They've been separated for a couple months now because of the whole him potentially having a baby on her 8 years ago. We know that Glenn stays gone. He's a longshoreman, or he's something. So he be gone like 80 million days out the week. So at the month. So their marriage, they came on the show with marital issues and a lack of trust and stuff like that. And although I'm glad to see that she stepped away and is getting the space for her own wellness and mental health, she's still distraught about it. She's living with her mom right now, and I guess he's back at the house. So we see that, like, he literally after he did that re-proposal last season, he literally was texting some other girl at that same night. Like, but my thing is, I feel like Leticia is the type of person that, like, this is a classic case of, oh, we've been together for a million years. Like, I don't know what life is without you. You're my best friend. Da, 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 da. And it's just like, this just goes to show that just because you've been with somebody for a long time doesn't mean that that's who you need to stay with for the rest of your life. Like, especially if they keep doing you dirty time and time and time and time again. Like, so he's headed over to pick up their son, and he kind of shares, like, he basically wants to just get back in her good graces by any means necessary. But I'm like, okay, does that mean you're gonna stop cheating then? Is that what you mean? I don't think that's what you mean, because until you're ready to do that and to, like, really work on yourself. So, of course, he wants to talk about things. She's like, not right now or whatever. He takes their son's obviously been having trouble. Like, he can tell, something's going on with his parents. He's used to, seeing them together in the same house and everything like that. She's trying to keep everything as normal as possible with them co-parenting, but a lot of feelings have been hurt, clearly. So my thing is, like, at this point, I was like, okay, so what is the end goal here? Like, what are you trying to get to? What are you trying to achieve? Like, where are we trying to go with this? Like, and we kind of find out what she needs or wants from the situation later on in the episode. But that's really it for the most part. She gets emotional, of course, and her mom tries to, comfort her, but I could get why she's upset about it, but it's just like, girl, like, just think about how he does you dirty, and that'll probably take the hurt away. Just focus on that. So then we catch up with Marie. She goes by Marie Monroe right now, meaning that she has a blonde wig on that I absolutely hate. I despise. I never want to see it again. Like, I want to snatch that wig off her head. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about Marie's new do. She's expanded her business. She, of course, is the first Black woman in the state to have owned a methadone clinic. So hats off to you. Like, she's always been killing it as far as business. But, mainly her issues to me resided in, like, her parenting and, like, mothering and stuff like that. Because we do know that her oldest son, Jerez, has, he had like 3 kids under the age of 1 or 2 or something like that. But I'm not even going to ride on him or ride on her too hard right now, because unfortunately she says, everything's great except for the fact that, just 3 days ago, the world just caved in on her. And that's because they found out that one of Jerez's son's mothers was unexpectedly killed. And I was like, not expecting to hear that at all. I think it said she was like 18. I'm just like, so of course Marie is fully immersed in that situation, which, to a degree I understand, of course. But where I got off the boat with that is when she said the responsibility falls on me because I take care of Jerez. And I'm like, see, you still have, this whole time, these cameras have been off for we haven't seen you guys on our screens in how long? It's been over a year or 2. So why are you still doing everything for your grown ass son? Why are you still, actually, it's 18. No, she couldn't have been 18. Maybe he said 21. Anyway, why are you still doing everything for him, Marie? We seen last season that, he is literally like just depending on you for any and everything. These young ladies were coming to you first before they even came to him, and he's the dad. So please tell me why that umbilical cord and why hasn't the cord been clipped prior to this? Like, I get maybe having stepped in now that the mother is not in the picture anymore, but like, he should have been doing what he was supposed to be doing as a father. Of course, before that, she had addressed the Essie rumors. Like she said, she assures us that she is not licking cooters out here. She likes the rod. So I was like, okay, whatever you say, I guess that's what we're gonna go with. And I'm just like, as soon as Dress came in, I'm like 3 words out his mouth, and I could already tell that he hasn't learned. He hasn't stepped fully into his fatherhood role like how he's supposed to. Moving on. The next scene we see Tamra. She's going into a fertility clinic, and we find out that she's still been dating Damon, and they're going full force with this having a baby thing. And it even comes up that he, you know, they might be looking into marriage. Like he might be about to pop the question. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that in the season. So it's looking, you know, good in her world. She's been doing good with business as well, of course. And, you know, she's poorly dressed, but her makeup is a lot better. A lot less hair this season. And I'm like, okay, you know, this is cool. At the same time, we see Leticia back at her office, and her friend Taisha comes by to, you know, check out the place. And where it starts to get messy, y'all. If you watch the episode, it started to get real messy at this point, because Taisha lets Leticia know that something, I forget how it was brought up, but Tamra gets brought up, and, you know, Taisha's kind of like, So I'm like, okay, I guess she's not really a fan of Tamra. But it's more so because of the fact that apparently Taisha's been also seeing Damon. Damon as in the future baby daddy of Tamra, future potential husband maybe of Tamra. And obviously this is unbeknownst to Tamra, because she's sitting in the fertility clinic all smiles and making plans for the future. Damon, if it's true, this is for you. A big fat one. But I still feel like, and Taisha, I guess she refers to Damon as greedy, and that's kind of why Leticia didn't know who she was talking about. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I guess we're going to see more with that, right? Next scene, we get Latrice is setting up for her high tea event that I think I've mentioned before. And she's invited her new friend, or new to us friend, So Gucci, who's a real estate agent. She's a certified personal trainer, as piece of fuzz, certified personal trainer, as well as someone who has plenty of spice. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna see how this goes. So she gets in, followed by Tamra, followed by Leticia, and they all sit down to have high tea, of course, and they start chit-chatting and whatnot. Did anybody peep the picture of Andre Leon Talley? I'm like, oh, was that like one of your inspirational like mentors as far as like fashions and stuff like that? Or like, did you guys know each other personally? I was genuinely curious about that, because I kept seeing the picture in the back of him. But nonetheless, Leticia brings up Marie, and I'm just like, why would you bring up Marie? You know that Latrice, you know how that whole thing unfolded between them. So I'm like, why are you surprised that there's an empty chair here and Marie's not in attendance? Like, I see what you're doing right out the gate. I see what you're doing, Leticia. And that quickly turns to her asking Tamra about Damon. And in the confessional, she lets us know that she's not going to speak on the information she knows about Damon and her friend Taisha, because she wants to gather more information first. And I'm just like, okay, so you shouldn't speak on it at all, instead of drilling Tamra, playing 21 questions with her right now, because that's not really what friends do, if you ask me. You should have just not said shit. But what do I know? I'm just a spectator. And I honestly thought too that Leticia to a degree was kind of like projecting almost, because Tamra kind of starts to speak about how, yeah, you know, we've always had protected sex because at the end of the day, you know, I guess she obviously had a sequence plan for the events in her life, and she's someone who I guess wanted to always be married before she had a baby. So that's why, you know, him and her have always had protected sex. So I'm like, well, you don't even know. You might be able to conceive, you know, naturally then. I mean, I know, you know, she's a woman of a certain age and she's had fibroids and a lot of different things, but I think I would recommend to, yeah, maybe give it a fair natural shot and then kind of go from there. Like, you don't even know yet. It might just, you know, happen. So whole time though, during this conversation, I was like, Melanie's face was literally me. She was like, and I was like, that was me the entire time. And so then we quickly start talking about Leticia and Glenn. Like I said before, I felt as though she was projecting, and this kind of justified that for me because she starts talking about her and Glenn and the whole baby situation. And her, like I was saying before, I realized what her end goal with this whole thing is to find out if the baby really is his. You know, the baby that was apparently conceived 8 years ago or whatever. She's trying to find out if the baby really, well, it's a whole child by now. Him or her is a whole child by now. So let's not even say baby, is his. And I'm just like, and then she goes on to say, you know, is it just me? Let me know in the comments below. Did she say that she wants to take care of the baby? Because that's when So Gucci jumped in like, you know, no, like let him do that. And I was so with So Gucci on this point. Like, no, he got himself in that situation. I'm not saying be mean. Like, if you're going to accept him back in your life, then yeah, then you don't be mean to the child or anything like that. But you don't have to go and how you be holding down any and everything for him doesn't mean you need to be exactly doing that for that child, because he got himself in that situation, and this is only going to put more strain and stress on you and not allow you to do the things that, you know, you want to do for yourself that you've been putting on the back burner for him for so long for. Keeping up with them though, Leticia's at her office, and who but Glenn comes in the next day or whenever with flowers, and I'm just like, you're gonna have to come with a lot more than flowers if it was me. I'm just going to say that right now. But I'm just like, you know, make him work for it. Like, if it really is if you really just want to be with him, he would literally be worshiping the ground I walk on. He would be kissing my ass, my whole black ass, every single day of his life, which is also not healthy, but you guys get what I'm saying. But it's almost like, I feel like he's going to do some big grand old gesture and just kind of win her back, and not ever having done the work that he needs to do for himself. I'm like, instead of getting up in her face and pleading and begging, you need to be actually working on yourself. Because I don't know if you've learned, if she just accepts you back, you haven't learned shit. You haven't learned shit, because in his way of showing that is when he goes on to say, you know, I'm not perfect, I'm a little toxic maybe, like, yeah, you know, like, I don't want to hear none of that. And to say I'm not perfect, no ninja, you need to come back perfect. Like, you get no more passes with me, you get no more justifications with me, you get no more, no, you don't get no more of that. So bye. And again, instead of begging, you need to be going out there working on yourself and actually showing her the actions and showing her that you're a changed person. If you even want to even have a conversation about me coming back into your life, that's just my 2 cents. But at the same time, I'm like, Leticia, are you only really just carrying on because of the baby though? Does that just negate all the other cheating he's done? Like, so say the test comes back and it's not his baby. Does that just mean like, oh, whew, okay, I'm coming back in the house now? Is that what that means? Does that mean, oh, all right, all is well then? Let me move back my Louis Vuitton bags, and I'm right back in the house. Like, no, it shouldn't be that easy. And that's exactly how I feel like you guys got in this situation, because he either did all these grand gestures every time he pissed you off, or he showed you a little bit of proof that, you know, or put the D on you, whatever he did, that is what got you guys this far into this mess. There needs to be some hard changes, some hard boundaries, some ultimatums. Actually, why am I even saying this? You guys just don't need to be together. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. Like, maybe you guys just do not need to be together, because if you don't even know what your life could be without him. You could have somebody out there that isn't going to give you none of these problems. I'm sorry. I have this blanket on and it keeps just, all these things keep flying all over the place. Anyway, you don't even know what life could be and how happy you could be without this man in your life. So fully cut him off and move on and go with that. That's how I feel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, though. That was pretty much it for this episode. Needless to say, I'm really excited that this show is back on, y'all. I am so excited, and we're going to be here every week talking about it, okay? So don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the notifications bell. Do it all. Like now. All right, y'all. See you in the next one. Bye.